right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unbought and UnBossed show. Today we got a jam-packed show. Anyways, this is going to be a hell of a show. I don't know when we're going to get off here. We're going to try and keep the shit to an hour, but can't make any promises or nothing about that. But we got a topic that we are going to talk about tonight, entitled "Come On, Columbus." The more things change, the more they stay the same, and there is a little bit of a precursor context that kind of got this all started, but we're going to talk about all that here in a few. We're going to bring up these guests here in just a second, but let's throw that intro.
Now listen here on the Unbought and UnBossed show with Devontae Goins. He's here to skip past all the drama by reporting on news stories that are relevant to Black America without all the hyped up false context that drives ratings. Our news deserves special attention, and Devontae intends on giving it that attention right here on this show. Right now, this is the Unbought and UnBossed show with Devontae Goins.
All right. I want to bring up the co-host of Blunt Talk, Brother Wook. What's up, bro?
Howdy, motherfucking do, everybody.
Man, why is it so fucking dark right there, bro?
I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm procuring some things for the Blunt Talk.
Oh, for tomorrow's episode, and let's bring up first time guest to UnBossed, but not a stranger. He's doing good things over there at Exodus Nation, brother KC. What's up, bro?
Oh man, as soon as he said I'm procuring things,
Right.
I was like, keep it dark,
Right.
man. We should turn off the camera altogether, man.
Nah, it's alright. It's alright.
Right,
Hey,
right.
the street lights.
I like that. I like that backstage music, man. I was back here jamming.
Yeah. Just
Hey,
trying
we
to
got
get a
some
little
people
pumped
making some
up.
music, man. I got a couple producers making us some original music for the Blunt Talk, so we can jam out and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm. So where's our other
Oh,
co-host
sorry.
at? It's supposed to be like the four amigos.
She getting ready, man. She had
Yeah. She got to be Hollywood ready. You got to be Hollywood ready.
You know, she was she had a lot to say today.
Yeah, she did. And so for everybody that doesn't know what we're referring to right now, I'm about to play a little something for you. So the other co-host of Blunt Talk, Malia, she she had a lot to say. She had to get some shit off her chest today, and a 20-minute clear the air turned into almost a 2-hour clear to air. Yeah, almost 2 hours, bro. So here, let me play a little bit of some of it, so you all can understand what we're talking about, and it help the conversation out tonight.
Well, why don't you correct these motherfuckers when you find out they standing wrong as fuck? This shit is corny, bruh. This shit is fucking corny. You know how much time I done invested in this dumbass shit? And it's not dumbass shit. It's the people in this city that created a monopoly to where they're the only ones able to like really run shit as far as like activism and organizing and shit. Like they do the corniest, lamest fucking shit so that it can be stalled out. Like I feel like niggas are purposely putting themselves in a position and they do corny ass shit so that we can't get nowhere. Because if we got progress, they wouldn't be able to have the status that they have now, would they? I think a lot of people came out in the protest because it allowed them to be the person that they envisioned themselves to be. They came out here and played a fucking role. They came out here and got attention. They made more friends than they ever had. And
So I wanted to stop it right there so we could talk about that. She just brought up a very good, valid point about progress right there. Casey, what's some of your thoughts around that right there?
what's a good place downtown to meet?
who Wook talking to, man?
Right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, who you talking to, bro?
I'm hearing females talking like, uh-oh.
Right?
I might look. He muted it. Okay. I guess I gotta say first and foremost, what Malia's talking about is not new. This is not new.
Right.
This is something not only we've been going through for years in activism in Columbus, Ohio. This is something that's been going on national. And I'll stress to say, especially after 2020, worldwide, you're going to be seeing stuff like this. You always, from a long time ago, man, people have been talking about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson for years, getting into the spotlight, being where them cameras shine the most. But where are they when we need them in between times of somebody dying? So anytime somebody dies, you are definitely going to see a flood, an influx of people who are out there, you know, raising fist, trying to start up the next revolution. And you'll see a lot of the same amount of people start to disintegrate and just dwindle off, as you know. And once the press leaves, once the numbers of people are no longer out there, they start stepping away from the game. So this is not new. What she's talking about is not new. And we definitely, the times that have changed for us now, the growth of TikTok videos, the growth of YouTube shorts, and anything that people can do to get that, you know, quick sound bite out there. Yeah, man, we're seeing clout chasing be given a whole new vehicle. It's like clout chasing used to be on a bicycle, and now clout chasing is driving a Hummer. So if you out to clout chase, then you get in that Humvee, and you're gonna be able to just start getting as much attention as you can immediately. And there's so many people who are just feeling like they're ready to stand up and do something. You're gonna get a crowd behind you without even having to do much at all, and that's what's going on.
Right. And it's crazy, man, because when I think back to some of the stories that my grandparents told me about the civil rights movement, and when they were our age and things like that, fighting the same fight we're fighting now in 2021 going on 2022, the same old shit is going on. And that's why the title of this show is basically, the more we change, the more we stay the same, because it's ridiculous. And like you just said, it's going on all across the country. But I want to continue to play a little bit of this clip as we await on Malia to come on to join us in this conversation, because she dropped not only a lot of truth and a lot of facts, but at the same time, she dropped a lot of knowledge, because a lot of the people who tuned into her just like trying to clear the air, and mind you, she was clearing the air while she's battling and recovering from COVID-19, because this pandemic is real, y'all. But yet she took time out of her recovery to come to clear the air and to get everybody straight, to let y'all know that we need to change. We can't keep going through all of this shit over and over and over again. It's insanity. But here, Malia puts it a lot more eloquently than I do.
In fucking life. And now this is their time to be what they always imagined they could be. This is my time to shine as a leader. You motherfuckers is whack. Because when you come in and you get a seat at the fucking table, you stalling everything out. Bro, in hindsight, bro, there was like 3,000 people downtown, bro, during the protests in 2020. 3,000 people. You know you know how the police station is set up. It's on the corner of a building. It's on the corner of a street. Marconi, I think that's long. That's where the police station is at, right? 3,000 people could have surrounded that motherfucking police station and not let nobody get in or get out until our demands were met, until progressive change was made. Nobody thought about doing that. Well, because there was no organizers of any already established organizations coming down here and doing that. You know what's funny is, like, now that we got our own little protest group, we are literally sitting and waiting on the next time a bunch of people's gonna give a fuck enough to come out the house. Because the next time it's at least 1,000 people, we're gonna know what to do then. We're going to mobilize those fucking people. We're going to organize those people and mass mobilize towards a common goal. Now that you got all these people sitting here with their ears open and they're ready to fight, they need to be guided. Where do we go from here? What is the next step? No organizations, no activists, nobody.
Need to stop her right there because she said something. She said a lot right there, but damn.
That's my homie, man. She be keeping
Right,
that real, bro.
Yeah, man. She asked the key question. Man, that Dr. King asked. It was he and Dr. King asked it, and he wrote it in a book. And it was his worst selling book, now his best selling book. A book he wrote in 1967. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? So it makes no sense that Malia is asking the same question that Dr. King asks. Where do we go from here?
I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same programming that they had to deal with back then that we're dealing with now. We think we're a little bit more advanced because we got technology in our hands, but that might be like setting us back because we putting all our cards out there on social media. We're putting all our emotions out there on social media. Back in the day, they used to hold that shit back a little bit and then hit them with the protests. But now we gotta like adapt with that. We gotta use them same philosophies that we used in the past, but adapt it to 21st century, whatever century this is. I don't give a damn.
All right, the 21st.
Yeah, bring it up to 21st century standards. But people are so stuck in their ways, or they want clout, or they want a pat on the back for some bullshit, and that's basically what it is, and that holds people back. People don't want the movement to move forward because they're happy that it's stagnant right here. That's a check. That's clout. That's a Facebook following. That's a TikTok following. That's something that's a little bit of power that we have, and some people don't want to give that up. So,
well, you got to figure. Back in the day, somebody wasn't about to drive their ass to Montgomery, Alabama, to get clout. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't going to go down there to get the fire hoses and the dogs sicked on them just so they could get some thumbs up. So what we have with this new generation of technology is we have people who would have never went down to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? We can't get people out on the streets of Columbus, let alone to go to a different state, to go to Minneapolis, to go to Kenosha, Wisconsin. We have people that we know do that for damn sure. But the people that we see on Facebook or TikTok who are making these clout chase videos, they're not about to be those people. They're not about to be stretching out to go to Minneapolis to help clean up, man. They want to get those thumbs from their, comfortable homes. And as a matter of fact, what sparked this off tonight. I mean, Leah's here. Hey, now she's finally here because the producer did not do his pre-job to set us up properly, but that's not her fault. But the thing is, when you think about it, you're not going to have people
justice for a ball. What?
Yeah, clout. You got people cloud chasing, man, and they're not even on the streets doing the work. And the one particular person that we are definitely in the midst of, he put in a little bit of work back in the day. And as soon as them cops came out and, hit him with the cuffs, that street work, that was done. That was over.
Right.
So how do we still have people involved in themselves in our everyday struggles when they're not going to be involved in those street struggles? That's a good question for me to ask. But welcome to the show, Malia. This is your show.
Right.
I hope I'm not echoing. I cannot find my headphones.
No.
Sound great. Sound good.
Okay, good. I really wanted to, because I know I went live and I got a lot of people on my Facebook page or what have you that are involved as well. And the drama and the social media bullshit that I was tired of, I kind of created a little bit of it. And I do see that. And the whole point in that was not really intentional. I wasn't trying to make a whole big thing about it. And I do want to clarify a couple of things about that live. First and foremost, I don't want to look like I'm bullying a motherfucker. I will always give credit where credit is due. And I will say his name like I said his name before in the live. I don't want to just bash Ramon. He does a lot of good work and he does do a lot of valuable shit in the community. But at the same time, I still said what I said. I still feel the way that I feel about certain things that are done aside from the things that he actually does and contributes to the community and shit like that I feel is problematic, and I address those things. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend or even allude to him being the worst offender in this shit that I've seen, or in my judgment that I've experienced in my entire protest experience, like I've seen people do worse shit. I've seen people like do more harmful shit than that. And I think that it was just one of the very many things that just allowed me to just snap the fuck off. Like for real, I don't want anybody. Another thing I wanted to clarify about my life is that I didn't want anybody to think that I was doing that for validation. I was doing that because I needed somebody to jump in my inbox and tell me how much they needed to hear my voice, or, oh no, please, Malia, don't go away from activism. We need you here. I did not want anybody to chase after me and hit me up in my Facebook, and I did not do that for validation whatsoever. I think like, you know, a lot of people are missing the whole point. My whole point in saying that shit is like, good luck. I'm done. Y'all can do this shit without me. I don't feel like there's any hope in this shit. There's been too many problems. There's too many people that are involved that are not seeing their problematic behavior, and there's no oversight. A lot of that shit isn't able to happen, you know, and then we're all supposed to just come together and work together and get this shit taken care of, and change is going to come. That it don't work like that when there's tension in the air, because there's all of this divisive shit and all of this non-productive conversation that just turns into divisive energy and shit that's just not beneficial for us. Like, why would you go and take the community that is active and that is progressive in this fight and divide them amongst themselves on trivial shit at that, shit that's not make or break, or something that is, all right, you can leave if you are down with this type shit. There's plenty of shit in this movement that is not okay, that has been a problem within the Black liberation and movement nationally since civil rights, since before that. You know, we watch movies like Panther, we watch movies like Judas and the Black Messiah, and we acknowledge that there is blatant infiltration and shit, and there's blatant tactics and things that are harmful to the community, but we only want to act like it's only the FBI that's doing it. There's no accountability in this shit. There's nobody being responsible and having enough integrity for the movement and respect for the movement to make sure that everybody's operating in its best interest and operating it in the best way. So my live was not to attack Ramon. I actually have a lot of respect for what Ramon does, and he does do a lot of work, and I'm never going to take credit away where credit is due. It's definitely due. He's very active and he does a lot of good shit. I'm not going to take back what I said though, as far as like the whole social media shit, trying to call yourself creating dialogue, but there's nothing at the end of the day that everybody can walk away with of value and learn from. If you want to create dialogue, at the end of that dialogue, at the end of that conversation, there's supposed to be some sort of accord that people have come to, or some sort of understanding. There's supposed to be a goal to the whole reason for this conversation to be had. And we all know that that's not how it is. That's not how it's playing out. A lot of the shit that I talked about in my live was not specifically about Ramon. I've talked about other organizations and my experience protesting, starting to protest full time for real since 2020 in May. I didn't see a lot of the organizations come out here and embrace any of the people that were down there downtown every single day wanting to protest. People whose first time ever protesting, unexperienced, did not know how to organize, didn't know where to go, but was willing to be down there and wait for someone to give them that direction. I feel like it would have been the organizations, if they call themselves wanting to do this, they just pretty much took all that prime real estate, all that prime stock, all those people that were invested and involved, and just wasted it, because I didn't see any of them come down there. They came down there and did dog and pony shows and they left. They put on the show and they left. There was nothing of any real value. No one tried to educate the masses. No one tried to mobilize all of those people and actually make a full statement and actually get progress done and actually create something of value. I feel like it's all a farce, and it makes me like, my whole point of the live was not to get validation, was not to cause a stir, was not to bash Ramon. My live was to basically tell people that, like, I'm done with this shit. I give up, and I don't think that any of y'all are going to be able to change shit, because look at how the fuck there's no oversight, there's no accountability within ourselves to make sure that we are even upholding the movement's integrity, that we are even doing the families right by that, by making sure we ain't we can gatekeep, but not gatekeep in a way in which is harmful, or gatekeep based off of our emotions and personalities and personal and personal grievances and issues and shit. So I feel like it's, you know, my whole life was just basically me expressing. I heard a lot of people come to me and felt like I was talking about them. I wasn't talking about y'all unless I talked about something you did, and we can talk about that. As far as other shit, I left out a lot of shit. I'm not, and like I said, I'm gonna repeat it. I don't think Ramon is the worst offender in this shit. But I do think that people need to open up their eyes and really recognize what's going on and ask themselves, are any of these people really getting any progress here in Columbus, acting like this and doing this trivial, childish, lame, and irrelevant shit? And I was pretty much basically throwing in the towel. Like, I'm done with this shit. Y'all can have fun with this. I don't think y'all gonna get anywhere.
You ain't throwing in the towel, nigga.
But no,
Yeah,
like,
really
I
not.
mean, it's not even a stunt. Like, you know, we've talked about this though, Dawn. I've told, like, bruh,
All the time.
like, it doesn't give me much faith that these are the people that we're supposed to be holding this movement. Like, these are the people that are supposed to be leading the movement. And then I've had people come at me and, you know, tell me that I'm, you know, that I'm saying shit that they wish they could say. And I'm glad I could be that voice, because I know I do speak for a lot of other people as well as my own personal frustrations. I do appreciate people telling me that I do have a voice and that, you know, and all that. That is very flattering, but that was never the intention. I don't want that much attention. And I've had people coming to me and tell me, there's no other female leader that's out here talking like that. And I'm just like, damn, y'all, that's sad. That's not a good thing. I can't do this shit by myself, and I don't want to.
All right.
I don't have time. I shouldn't have to. Like, that's sad. Like, you know, and the fact that we could just say that or think that some of this shit's funny and it's entertainment is just very, very disappointing to me. I'm very disappointed in a lot of shit and a lot of people.
All right. I want everybody to hold that thought right there. I'm about to roll a quick commercial here, and if you all thought the show from earlier today, it really was a show turned into an impromptu show. If you like that, you're gonna like what's coming in February, and you've been able to get bits and tastes and things of it through these past few weeks on Tuesdays, but coming this February on Friday and Saturday right here on Boss, you're going to be able to get this every week, twice a week, the real deal.
First of all, he might not have been able to go ahead and get away with that, fighting all of our ancestors and shit like that, bro.
Because they was mad. Like, first off, there's a major snitch in the city of Columbus.
Absolutely, there's plenty of them.
So yes, One Talk is coming this February, and it's hosted by Malia and Walk KC.
That was a terrible commercial break. I mean, you didn't.
15 seconds. It was a promo. It wasn't.
You should have told us.
It's all right.
15 seconds.
It was a promo, bro.
That's why I turned my camera off. By the way,
You wasn't ready.
No, it was a
right,
promo. We will have like a minute commercial break here. Here in a few. You'll
Good.
get like a 60-second break. But you've been in the protest community coming up on 10 years here in the city, right, Casey?
yeah. Yes.
Since 2013, 14, around that time frame, right?
I'm old. Thank you. Yeah.
No,
I
I'm not.
mean, it was before that. It was before that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm trying to give you.
Let's move on before Malia starts talking about how old I am, because
Right.
she loves to point it out.
Right.
I'm old.
You old, nigga, shit.
No, so
Hey, you a little bit behind me, old man. So
Just a time bit.
right.
Hey,
Everybody
I can
owes this dude.
I
welcome to that
still
over the
27.
hill. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What's your question, Devontae?
Right. No, so the question I have for you is, since we got out, you're old and all that. We're all joking here. We all family. But anywho, you've seen people evolve, different leaders and things come and go. Do you think there? Two questions there. Number one, do you think there ever was a leader who was a leader of the movement? Number one. And number two, do you think we could get back to there being a leader to lead the movement? And I asked that question because I didn't have the opportunity to know her very well, but I know she was very near and dear to your heart and a lot of other people. I've come to know her mom and some of her family members. I'm talking about sister Amber Evans. I When I speak with people and I hear people talking, that's the closest thing to a leader, and not to mention a black female leader that Malia was just referencing that she's not trying to become, but that's the closest thing to a leader and to a female leader that I can think back on here in the city. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, yeah, I adore Amber to this day. You know, I still have footage of things that me and Amber were co-generaling on, and just remembering what it was like to, you know, be able to lean over and get her guidance in my ear when I'm trying to think of how this organizational meeting should go. She's like, let's hit them here, here, here. And then she'd go back to the whiteboard and she'd write it down. You know, I mean, she kept us very, very focused. So there's no way I'm never, ever going to be able to stop adoring her. But at the same time, I know people who inspired her. You know, Adrian Hood, much like Miss Hill here, Miss Hood, Sergeant Hood, has never really wanted to have to take on that I'm the leader of Columbus, Ohio. Amber didn't want to take on that I'm the leader of Columbus, Ohio. Amber did what Amber had to do because people needed it to be done. And when I talked to Malia, that's when because she knows, she'll tell you, she's already said it, as a matter of fact, you know, for the last year, I'm hitting her with, you are the leader that you keep talking is not there. You are that. Wook Dewan is very much the leader that we look for, who's not here anymore. And it's not something that's new. You know, leaders come and go. You know, some of us have our times when we are that voice and we step up and we unite people. And when you are that person, it's a very hard road to have to deal with. It can be mentally challenging on many levels. Even before COVID hit, we started a Black support group here in Columbus, and it's been very phenomenal in my own life, just because, you know, I know personally for myself, to be out here on the streets, you got to have a level of insanity to begin with, because we deal with things that people never in their right minds would volunteer to come out here and get maced, to get hit with rubber bullets, to get cuffed, to get jailed. And going back to what Malia was saying earlier, you know, don't never want to be out here bad mouthing Ramon or any brother or sister who's doing this, you know, whether they're white, black, brown, yellow, it doesn't matter, man. People put in work, and there's people who have done what I've done 20 years ago, feeding the homeless. They're doing that now. Thank God they're here. Because without them, people aren't getting food. You know, there are people who are clothing the homeless. Thank God they're here. There are people who want to meet brothers and sisters coming out the penitentiary with a suit and shoes, and abilities to get them to start setting up job interviews and applications. And there are leaders in all different routes, all different lanes of life, period. There are leaders that we have not had in certain routes, in certain lanes. And Amber was someone who was that street leader. And I've told Malia and Wook many times, you know, y'all are filling a lane that has been empty for a while. And that's one of the big problems when we talk about how many people y'all love, how many people were out there this first year of, you know, you getting out there full-time protesting. And I was dumbfounded by that number. We didn't have those numbers, you know, 2-3 years ago. We didn't have that. We didn't have these people coming out. And a lot of that, you know, there's circumstances that arose, but we had a good fight in 2020 that has dwindled back down to those who are just dedicated to being in this. So unfortunately, Malia, it is sad that you're going to be one of the very few Black females out here with a voice. It's sad. It is. And I told you earlier, for those of us who have been used to not having a voice, to hear your voice, that's why you get those emails. That's why you're getting those messages, because of the lack of voices that we've had. So even though I understand this is not something that you asked for, I mean, it's not. Again, it's not even to flatter you, though. It's not even to flatter you.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I don't want to cut you off. Like, I think leaders are important. I think leaders are like appointed by the people. They're not somebody that's just willing to just be the first one to be out there and the loudest one in the mic and, you know, all that shit. So, like, obviously, when you talk about Amber, I never had the opportunity to meet her or get to know her. I've heard fabulous things about her. But when I hear you speak about her, when I hear you talk about how she was a leader, you don't talk about how she was the one on the front and the one that was loudest and the one that made sure she was the one that was always speaking on the mic. You said she was the one that would whisper in your ear and give you guidance. Those are leadership qualities and shit that everybody can be able to possess at any given time. You could be a leader to me in the smallest of ways and never know it. You could be that one bit of insight or that one little lean over and whisper in my ear that I might need that day. I think that everybody's too built up on who could be the leader. I'm going to be the one to push this in the front and all this other shit. Like, I think that's a part of the problem. Like, asking as far as like who's the leader, who's not the leader, who are leaders. We can all be leaders for real. And the thing about it is that we need to make sure that there is a, like, not leaders but guardians of this shit to make sure that they protect the integrity of the movement. You can't have no fake ass, whitewashed ass, lame cornball leader. You can't have a leader that's afraid to go to jail. You can't have a leader that's afraid to tell it like it is. You can't have no leader taking pictures with the cops. And like you got to have some oversight. And I think that's a part of the problem. Now, I'm pretty sure that this city isn't the only one that has those issues, but I just feel like it's a lot of like ego things. And then the things that really make people leaders, as what people say in retrospect. And when they say, and remember Amber, is like, I hear a lot of things about her that show more about character and how she wanted to bring the people together and make sure that it was done right. And that's what a leader should be. And it's not someone who could just go out here and be popular and say something and get an interview and know how to bring out the fanfare and the notoriety, because it just seems like it's for the wrong purpose, especially when there's no follow through. There's no mass mobilization to actually get shit done here in the city because there hasn't been much progress done.
Hey, but let me hop in right here, Casey. So what I want to hop in right here and say is that a lot of people would.
Hey, Devontae, just so you know, you got an echo now, and so do I.
I don't hear it.
You know.
All right. We're good now?
No.
I think it's on Malia's end. Yeah. Yeah, it's on Malia's end. Yeah, we're gonna get her some headphones. But what I was saying is a lot of people would make the argument that one of the greatest things about the movement of, number one, I don't know why we still call it a movement. We were calling it that back in the 60s, but I'm just going to go with it, not even going to get off on that tangent. People would say the greatest thing about what happened in 2020 with BLM and the George Floyd protests, Breonna Taylor protests, and Ahmaud Arbery, and I can go on and on and on naming the names, was that there was no leaders. And that's what made it beautiful. But at the same time of that being the most beautiful thing about it across the country and across the world, I would argue and venture to say that's also our Achilles heel in some sense, is because we don't have a leader, and there were multiple leaders back in the during the civil rights movement and things like that. We had King, we had Stokely Carmichael, we had Malcolm X, and all the brothers of and sisters of SNCC, the Black Panthers. I can go on and on and on naming all these names. So it just wasn't like one person that you or one leadership style that you had the choice to follow. You can follow any of these different leaders that you so chose, but because there's no leadership or no one for us to, I don't want to say follow, but there's no one for us to model. Like, for example, we were just talking about Amber. The beautiful thing about Amber is we can model her style. We didn't need to rush out and be in the front like so many people do, and like so many people have done. And we saw it all throughout the summer last year. Even when Casey and Andre got killed, we saw people just out there for the cameras. And then when the cameras left, they weren't out there anymore. We saw it repeated again when Micaiah was taken from us, Miles Jackson.
I think
what's on your mind?
I think for real, like how you said it was beautiful. We ain't had no leaders, but now that we seeing the fruits of not having no leaders. When you brought up all them names like Snick and Malcolm X and all them, when they was out in the streets, they had legislation or they had something to back that up. We didn't have that. We had leaders, we would have had that. That's the only thing that we was missing from that. So that's why nothing came about that. Matter of fact, things did come about of it, and it became detrimental to protest. And they came out with protester laws. They do all types of shit to us. So it was a good thing, half 50-50, bad thing, 50-50. What can I say?
Okay, well, let me, what I wanted to say earlier. I know I got an echo. I can hear it. But, uh-oh, it is her phone. Oh, she is she's the one. Okay, so let me say, first of all, as far as leadership, there's many different qualities of leadership. There definitely is. But one of the most important qualities of leadership is being able to unite people. That matters more than anything else. So and I say that keep in mind, when you look at our opposition, when you look at a Proud Boy that is able to build followers because of their anger and their hatred, unfortunately, we hate that type of leadership, but it's effective. And we saw the numbers that grew with the Proud Boys.
I mean, it is effective, but that's kind of a lot. What I do, I don't really consider myself as a leader, at the library, but I just feel like people like gravitate to like the way I say it and how I say it and how I look, how I am. They don't really expect me to talk like this. So when they hear this, it shocks them. It's that shock value. That's what we were trying to talk about, that shock value. And we need it, but then we don't need it because shock value can also be turned into like some of these posts that people put with no substance. You can't have shock without substance.
Yeah, either he had it.
Now, when I think about the first time I met you, brother, I remember you waving that Black Lives Matter flag proud and high and carrying it, and you would not drop that flag. I know how hard carrying a flag can be, especially for as long as you was doing it and keeping it up. That's leadership. That's I will not.
Proud.
I mean, that's leadership, and that's what I'm saying. When it comes to rules and regulations, I've never wanted to put that on none of y'all. You know, I told Malia I wasn't asking her to lead an army. I was asking her to be her, because her leadership, even if it was just me, I'm inspired by her. Even if it's just you carrying that flag, I'm inspired to stay in the cold. So even if it was just you and me, I'd still feel like, yeah, your leadership is beautiful. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. First of all, when I spoke on what I said earlier at the beginning of this, the gentleman was handcuffed and he was arrested and he never came back out after that. What I wanted to speak on was not demeaning him in any way. What I wanted to say more than anything else is the fact that I used to stomp these grounds. I used to be boots to the ground. I am not an activist anymore. I have moved into a different realm of activism. But when it comes to being an activist, first and foremost, you got to be active. You can't go home at 8, 9 o'clock. You got to keep your boots on the ground as long as that energy is rolling. Stay out there. Don't be the one to quit, because that's what we're going to call out first. If you are a true soldier on the streets, you're going to call out those who want to leave early. You know, we have elders that we know have to leave early. We respect that. We love them. We walk them to their cars. We make sure they're safe and they get home okay. Those of us who can still stomp, stay out here. That's what we do. As a former activist, I respect what I saw y'all do. So when I tell y'all that the leadership I see in you is true, it's because I was out there too. And I realized that there were people who who just underestimated the energy I was about to bring to this, and they weren't ready to face that. And they weren't ready to face it because they weren't real leaders. They weren't ready to take on that. We're staying out here till midnight. We're staying out here till midnight. We're staying out here until we can't walk no more.
And real leaders will allow room for other leaders to pop up as well.
Yes.
It's not just room for me. I'm going to be the one. And it's like you need to be able to open up the door and accept and collaborate with people who may operate differently than you, but operate within the same realm and for the same goal. I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with anybody who wants to sit there and do kumbaya and yoga for justice and shit. That's not my style. I don't think that doesn't speak to me, and I don't feel like it actually says anything that I want to express. That's not how I express myself. But if that's a way to get people involved, because that's something that a lot of people are into and it brings attention and it can gain people from that audience who are already into yoga, then I don't have a problem with it. As long as it's not hurting the movement, it's not a problem. But I see that a lot of things as far as like ego come into play. If you want to be like, everybody knows about too many chiefs, but the only reason that too many chiefs would be a problem is if those chiefs can't collaborate with each other. I think a lot of chiefs is a good thing.
Now, on speaking on what you just said, not to cut you off, but and I know I've told you many things about when I first met y'all, but I never really said what made me gravitate towards y'all. What made me gravitate so much towards the downtowners was because there were a few groups that were popping up. We all know this in 2020, there was a few groups popping up, and there were groups putting out flyers about not attending events of other groups, not wanting to give those other leaders their time. That's why I gravitated towards y'all, because y'all were not being divisive. See, y'all wanted to unify people.
Let me say something about that. Like,
how does that help the family? How does that help the movement? How does that help us do anything?
That's the leadership we needed. And what, Wook? Because
that's that, like, for real, that's one of the most, out of all these things that we've done with the protest thing, like, me personally, I don't take too many personal strikes from this, but I do take a personal strike for bringing some people together that wouldn't be at the table before, or people that at least be respectful to each other that wouldn't be respectful to each other before. Not that I do or don't like these other certain types of people. It doesn't really matter what my personal feelings is. I need these people to get the movement going. Some to get the movement, going. Get this out of here. So we got to do it no more. Some people are good at things that I'm not good at. Some people some things I'm good at that other people not good at. We need to come together, and I think that's a lot what people fuck with the downtowners for, because you brought the Proud Boys. I kind of structure it like how the Proud Boys structure it. You on your own can be a downtowner, but when you need some help, we backed up. We won't back you up. You can do whatever you want as a downtowner. You can be any type of activist. You want to go feed people. You want to go change people's oils or whatever.
Right.
If you put the word out there when you need some help, we won't come help you. That's what part of being the downtowner is. And I think that will be, if a lot of people take that for like their groups, it will work out a little bit better. But hey, with this all working out, just remember, we ain't know each other last year, a couple years ago. And look how much we have made. Even though we bicker and all that shit, look how much we have overcame, bro. Because for real, we had the city by the balls at one time, but we didn't know how to do it. We
didn't know how to follow through.
Follow through. But now we kind of know. But now we kind of got some people that can step forward, that can do that. We got people in the behind the scenes that can facilitate the behind the scenes things, and that comes from coming together. And not totally liking each other, but coming together.
See, here's the thing, though. We've come and we already know that you keep that shit separate, personal and business. I don't have to like you to work with you to know that we all need each other so that we can get that mass mobilization where we can have the city at the balls again. The thing is there needs to be a line separated, though. I'm not standing next to no motherfucker. I'm not working with nobody that's doing detrimental shit, that's not having no integrity in how they handling themselves. We all know a set of twins that was out here doing harmful shit. I'm not going to work next to
Yeah.
that. I cannot sit here and have pride in what work we do and feel like it's valuable if we sit here and just enable and allow people to leech and snake off of it and be the very thing that makes this shit go down in flames. At the same time, that's why I said we need oversight. It's beyond like, oh, okay, we do need all each other, but we don't need half of you motherfuckers doing the shit that you out here doing. Nobody needs it, as a matter of
Hey, I want
fact.
to thank Dr. Jason though,
It, it,
for real, because
it's beyond opinion and you know, you being my flavor and my taste and my cup of tea. It's beyond that. You are hurting the movement, for lack of a better term. You're detrimental. You are up. You're
Now,
hurting
yeah,
it.
they did kind of hurt it, but if it wasn't for Josh and Jason, there would be no me. If they would have never told me to shut up, I would have never brought my little hand microphone, and then my big ass motherfucking bullhorn, and then my other bullhorn. So for real, I want to give a little salute to them two motherfuckers, because without
all
them, there would
right.
be no me.
All right, you can do that. But now here, let me give you a salute
We
right quick.
did need whack shit to come. Like whack shit inspired me to hop
Yeah,
off the
y'all
porch and
kind
be
of
like,
did.
no, you know what?
You gonna tell me to shut up?
We gotta
I'm
redirect this
I'm gonna
shit.
tell y'all.
Right.
I'm
You're
gonna
not gonna
tell
tell
y'all.
me to shut up and you're saying stupid shit and you're not helping the movement. If I'm gonna shut up, it's because it's in better hands.
All right,
But
let's
But
go
it's
to
not.
Casey and then we'll toss to a
one
commercial.
of my loudest moments when it came to y'all was Micaiah Bryant. It was in April. We had so much hostility from group to group, activist to activist. And in April, everybody gathered downtown. Malia called me and she told me how beautiful it was that everybody was working together. Everybody was talking together. The microphone was being passed. Everybody got to speak their piece. And this was the first night ever within the last year that it had been this strong. And I felt so good when she hung up that phone. And from that point, I continued watching the live videos because I was keeping tabs on everybody that night. And from that point, another leader made it their mission to open the doors of CPD headquarters after the cops had locked it with handcuffs. That leader then wanted everybody to invade CPD headquarters. And where I saw leadership stand up, one, Malia, and now DeJuan's gone, but y'all decided to tell your peoples we're not going in there. It's not a good idea.
Hold on, time out.
And
Hold on, wait. I asked my people, first of all, I told which people probably shouldn't go in or not, but I did say a couple of them could go in. They were going to go in. They wanted to go in. I wasn't going to take my black ass in there, but I was cool with it. I just was like, okay, which one of us are going to go in and which one's not? There's a significant amount of risk. And so
you can only do what you decide to do for yourself, but your words were not going in there. And that was the best leadership. Now, from that point, people did go in there. The cops came out and sprayed everybody. And I want to make sure. Hold on. Wait a minute. You got cut off, but wait a minute, bro. Hold on. Because what I was saying was the leadership points you guys took that night. So what happened was, even though DeJuan did not want to go in that joint, DeJuan tried to save people from getting maced. Not only was he trying to take people off the steps, but I got video footage of when he blocked multiple people from getting sprayed and got doused himself. What that turned into the very next morning was the Columbus Dispatch showed my bruh stripping his clothes off. Like he was the angry, crazy black man in the middle of the street. And nobody knows why he stripped his clothes off because he got doused protecting other people. A cop reached around and maced him intentionally as he was trying to walk away. These are leadership. These are leadership qualities.
One of the cops was like, I was like, hey, man, I'm trying to get people away from the door. He said, all right, thanks. And the other cop said, why are you talking to him like that? And then mace me.
This is what people can't do. Right, nobody's volunteering to do that. Nobody is going to volunteer to be that dude on the steps getting doused with mace. The other person who set that up got a mouthful of mace. And I really do believe deserved that. And went almost into convulsions because of that mace. You wanted that mace. You got what you asked for. My peoples did not ask for that, but they stood their ground helping other people. Now, I watched them helping people find their glasses, helping people find their damn, they were stripping off clothes because they all got doused. But they were helping other people who got doused too, and they brought none of that on. That's protecting your peoples. That's leadership.
And we're going to cut it right there and go to a 60-second commercial. But when we come back, we want to push the conversation now to the point where we're talking about progress. And have we really seen progress? I would argue a little bit, yes, but hold that thought, Dewan. We got to take this, pay some bills really quick.
Sometimes your life won't turn out how you planned it. It turns out how you work for it. Mm-hmm. How you wake up and you chase that dream every single morning. It's what you give your time and your energy to that takes you to the next level. And that's royalty. You see, many of us believe that just because our father was a drug dealer and our uncle was a drug dealer, that is our life and that is our forever. But I want you to know something. That is only a lesson to show us to be something more. It's a mentality. Roses can grow in the projects if you take care of the soil. It don't matter how big the house is, baby. It's the love inside of it. Take care of your community.
If you're tired of mainstream media outlets selecting news stories and events that don't appeal to Black America, then become a member of the UnBossed Network today, where we are the voice of Black America and providing coverage of events and news stories that you won't hear anywhere else. Visit theunbossednetwork.com to become a member today.
All right, so we're back here on the Unbought and Unbossed show tonight, talking about the subject of the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I'm reading this book by Dick Gregory, and in this book right here in my hand, he has a quote in it by Malcolm X that says, and I quote, "You don't stick a knife into a man's back 9 inches, pull it out 6 inches, and call it progress." And that's where we've come to a point at in our conversation tonight, where now we have to talk about progress. There has been some progress. Some may argue it's been a lot of progress, but I'm argue that it hasn't been enough progress, but it's something. And so I want to bring KC, Malia, and Juan all back into the conversation here. When we talk about the progress over the last, 12 to 16 months, we have to look at, like, now a federal judge said CPD ran amok. And then he brought down some harsh penalties on CPD. We now have 2 Black females running the division of Columbus Police. But also, if we're talking about progress, we need to also talk about the fact that now we are tied for the #1 city in America for more police officer involved shootings and killings than any other city. We're only tied to another city because it's Minneapolis. Andre's law, but sadly, Andre had to die at the hands of murderer and lyncher Adam Coy. Not only is Andre's law progress, but we now have the fact that we have an inspector general on the way and a police civilian review board. I may not agree with how it's set up and all of
The
that,
Inspector
but
General's nice though.
it's a start. It's a start, and we have to start somewhere. So with just some of that right there, any one of you all could hop in. Let's talk about progress. And Malia put it eloquently earlier in her live, and we played it,
Oh
and
no.
we talked about it a little bit before she got here. Where do we go from here? How do we
Where do we
progress
go
onward?
from here? Where do we go from here? This is what I think we should go from here. From all that progress, what you just said was great, but that's just tears in the ocean. What we really need to do, it might sound crazy, but it's really what we really need to do. First thing we need to do is set term limits for our elected officials. That will help us get our agendas passed. Because if you ain't doing what you want you to do, we're gonna get you the fuck up out of there. And second of all, just take Congress all away. They're not supposed to be there. We should take away Congress. Then
And
it's
when
for
he's
rich
talking
people and rich
about
people
term
tendencies
limits,
only.
everybody.
That's it. That's the only thing they was here for.
Here,
Like
when
I
he's
said, the
talking about
term
term limits,
limit.
everybody, he's talking about for the mayor and for city council, because right now no city official here has term limits, and the same thing goes for the county officials as well. Now, our state and federal officials, they all have term limits, with the exception of Congress. The Senate, they have term limits, but not Congress. Wook is right. We do need term limits, but not only here. Can I add on to that? Not just term limits. We all, as a people and as part of the movement, we need to be willing to stand up and say, all right, if you aren't doing right, we're going to get our asses up and vote your asses out. And we all wonder why the Somali community, one of their leaders within their community here in the city, was murdered over the Christmas holiday, sadly. And we all wonder why they are not only getting so much attention and looked after so much, is because the Somali community understands that if you don't sit down and listen to us and take us seriously, we're going to vote your asses out. They understand that fundamental principle. But didn't mean to cut you off, but you brought up a very good point about term limits that I wanted to just build off of.
Let's see. Let me piggyback on some other things that my homegirl Malia said earlier about why people don't want to come out here that have businesses and have all that we can build that infrastructure for that to happen. Where like we ain't fucking around, we gonna go. But we don't come. People don't come out there because they will destroy your whole life. They will take your business. They will do nothing. They will do everything. And then what you gonna do when they take your business and then ain't nobody coming to help you? We need to build
Nope.
that infrastructure so we can help that business person get that business back or keep that man in business where they can say we ain't coming to y'all. We can say we ain't coming to y'all either. We gonna shop over here and that's it. Keep our own afloat like everybody else does in the country. I don't want to hear somebody saying I'm being motherfucking a separatist. That's the American way, baby. Everybody like that. You got Chinatown, you got Germantown, you got every other town, but you ain't got, Nigga Town. You know Nigga Town. They just don't call it Nigga Town, but you know where it is. In Columbus, we call it the west side of Columbus, Zombie Land. Matter of fact, we call it anywhere right outside of the city. The hood. But they
And
try
you
to gentrify
mentioned
that shit, but I'm going on
you
my little thing.
you
But
mentioned
let me go on
infrastructure
about the
though.
most important thing I said earlier is about the Congress thing, how we should just get rid of Congress.
Oh shit, he's zapping out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we need. But as far as what you said was like, what you mentioned as far as infrastructure within the activism community or what have you. You mentioned this, the Somali people. They're able to have that pool. Boycotts don't happen unless everybody participates. You got to be able to be like Thanos and snap your motherfucking fingers, and everybody in your group going to know if we need to do this, we're going to go. We're going to somebody
Malia,
hits
when
the
they
big.
found when they found their leader, It was going back to my mother's. It was Christmas Eve. I had a couple of my siblings in the car going back to my mother's, and as I'm coming down the bridge on Joyce, I'm seeing all these flashing lights and all of that. I'm like, all right, a car accident. So as I get closer, I didn't know nobody got killed, but I started to look around. I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Were my words? Because I start seeing like 100, 200 Somalis and more pulling over, walking. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
They
This is
pulled
the
up.
fucking hood. This is Linden, what we used to call the terrace, the south side of. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't see shit like that ever.
But see,
Like, I knew something was up.
it's none of that. You don't have we don't have that. Like
Yeah,
there,
not even among the black community, let
that's
alone the
yeah.
protest and movement community.
Yeah, we don't have that infrastructure. I mean,
Right.
it's made to where we don't have that. It's made to be divisive. It's made to be, for that reason, counterproductive, and avoid or stop that from happening, with stopping people from mass mobilizing and stopping people from boycotting or stopping people from being able to use their voting block, for themselves and use it as leverage. We always talk about which president or which whoever is going to get the black vote, but the thing about it is like, does the black vote even know why are we even voting together? Of course not. Of course, because we are not a monolith and no one is, but there is no infrastructure enough where people have enough discipline to say, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to use our muscle. And if you are going to be in any sort of activism or advocate for anything and organize to do said things, then you need to have that infrastructure to do whatever it is that you need to do. And it is very much so lacking in the black community, is very so much so lacking in the activist community. And it's very discouraging, because if the activism is supposed to be like what invigorates everything and everybody into changing and reforming everything, how is that going to be the spark that lights everything up if it's not creating a flame? We can't even, we're stepping over our own feet and over our own toes. I'm sitting here getting discouraged about participating actively in this shit with other organizations and other groups and other protesters and shit like that. You're gonna see me there if I feel like going, but 9 times out of 10 I'm not gonna be involved with y'all. Why? Because there is no structure, there is no discipline, there's not even trying to have no integrity about the shit. There's no oversight, nobody's responsible. It's enabling. And then, like, as far as how if we look at other communities, how they're able to do that shit, why can't we get it together? What is the problem?
Okay. So your question was, has there been any progression? My answer to that is, in 2016, Henry Green was murdered by two off-duty plainclothes officers in Columbus, Ohio, who had a car with Florida tags on them. We're not showing their ID. We're not showing badges. And one of the cops refuses to even back the other cop's story that Henry pulled a gun out on them. And that's what led to Henry's death. It's been 5 years since Henry died. And we just now finally got to the first federal civil case of a black man being murdered by the police in Columbus, Ohio. To me, that's progression.
Yes.
Now, there are people who would say that, okay, but that ended up being a mistrial. But what I do know from being there every day, making sure that, Henry's mother and family were definitely looked after in this community as they should be, I know that we won that trial. I know that 100%. I know that it doesn't show it on paperwork, but believe me, I can tell you we won that trial 100%. And that being the first time that we had two black attorneys representing a young black man who was murdered by the police in Columbus, Ohio, even though we came away with a mistrial, the lessons that we learned have taught us and have given us some prime examples of what we're going to have to use in the future. When I think about progression, I think about Tanya Hudson. She has a company, a company. She has an organization called Start Teaching Our People. Her son was murdered, street violence in 2010, Johnny Bell. And then later, she would lose her son, Deontay Bell, to Columbus police. She is herself, excuse me, she herself is about to finally have some time in court. That's progression to me. When I think of the fact that Columbus, Ohio has a lieutenant in the CPD by the name of Melissa McFadden, who's put herself through law school to learn the laws that she was never taught as a cop, to then be able to come out in detail how the Columbus police don't know their job and give us a book so we can start learning from her and what their jobs are supposed to be. That's progression. When I think of progression, I think of it has been a long, very hard hill to climb up, but I definitely see progression. I see the fact that we have not had a very strong community of activism in Columbus, Ohio. So when I tell Malia, when I tell Dewan, when I tell the other leaders that I see standing up, when I see Devontae, when I see Devontae putting 4 people of color on the screen and us talking about what's going on in Columbus, Ohio, that is progression. We have never had this. Okay. And we are going to come into 2022 doing things that we never have done in the last 5-6 years. So if you have a perspective of a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm sorry, now it's 2 years ago that we're coming into, and we had 3,000 people out on the streets, and everybody wanted to do that, and then it comes down and it dwindles down to the numbers we have now. I can definitely understand why progression is not relatively obvious. But when you've been doing it so long, like I told Malia earlier, when you go from 0 to I'm glad there's a Black queen being able to put her voice out there and honestly scare people. I love that. I love it. When people are like, oh my God, Malia's mad. That's what y'all need. Y'all need to care when a Black woman's mad, because y'all didn't care when Adrian Hood was mad. Y'all didn't care when Tanya Hudson was mad.
That part.
Y'all don't care when we have mothers who are losing, mothers and fathers who are losing their children every week in our city. Y'all don't care when they're mad. So yes, it's time that there is a progression stance and a sight on that. We are progressing. Having the two of you here is progression in the time I've been out here. Having what y'all have done and the work you've put in is progression. What we're going to do in the future is progression to me. I'm so excited to see the work we are actually willing to put in. I want to stop asking people who've never really tried to put in work to do what we do. I'm asking y'all to do what we do triple time, because we don't have those people. It's not them, it's us. It's on us. It's not on them to change us. It's on us to change us. It's not them that's killing us. It's us that's killing us. We're letting our people down every damn day. And when we get distracted by people doing nothing, we're the only hope. And we get distracted by some bullshit. And in 2022, I want to see us go ahead and lock ranks. Because that's one thing, when we talk about leadership, that's one thing that we have a problem with. When we talk about having people who are held accountable, we don't lock ranks. We're just out here waiting for anybody to do anything. Those of us who are actually doing the work need to stand together to do this work together. We don't need to keep asking other people to come in and help us. We know we got to help each other. We're all we got. You know what I'm saying? If one of us catches COVID, then I expect you to be on the phone with that person, making sure they don't need anything, making sure they're taken care of, making sure their family's okay. When one of us is falling down, when one of us breaks our hand, the rest of us stand up and say, I'm going to carry some of that gear for you because I know you can't carry everything. You know, That's what it's supposed to be about. When I see progression, I see it from the lens of being completely alone 10 years ago and just trying to make, just like she's saying, she can't do everything by herself, and neither could I. And it's taken 10 years for me to be surrounded by y'all beautiful motherfuckers, you know? And now I'm here. So, of course, I see progression. I see progression because we're about to travel throughout Ohio this coming year. We're about to do more work than we've ever been able to, and organized in a way that now we're actually having campaigns to fight qualified immunity. Mm-hmm. We're doing that. We're not just sitting here doing nothing. Do we?
And that is progressing too, Casey. Not to cut you off. That you went up and you fought the AG twice this past year with petitions to get the ending of qualified immunity on the ballot for the coming years. Yes, we lost, but in previous years, this never would have been thought of to take on a fight or a battle like that, and yet we did it. That's progress.
I can tell you in 2011, 2010 to 2012, there was more people who cared about legalizing cannabis than stopping the death of Black people on the streets and the brutality of Black people. And now you have a lot of those people who in 2020 were fighting a lot of other fights really start saying, hey, did y'all know Black people was dying? 2020, y'all. Did y'all know Black people got beat up by the police? 2020. It took this long for the allies and for the supporters to come out on these streets and start saying, we don't want to see that no more. We've been in this fight for a long time. This fight is not, I didn't start shit. I was born into this. You know what I'm saying? This is long since the 60s. This is before the 60s. This is slavery. This is years of things that have never completely changed all the way. So as Black people, stop expecting it to change tomorrow, because you know it's a long haul. And with Black folks, we go village to village to teach each other, teach your children. They're going to be fighting this fight later. You got to show them how they can sustain this fight, how to stay mentally strong, how to stay physically strong, how to stay ready to keep fighting this fight, and to teach their children to fight this fight. We don't know if we'll ever see the end of this, but the point is we can never stop fighting. That's what Black people, and that has become the culture of Black people more than anything else, is fighting. Black people have fought significantly more than any culture ever, and the fight's not going to stop. So for me, progression wise, I'm able to see it better than some folks who may not have the last 10 years. But for me, I look at some of the elders who've been doing it for the last 50 years, and they see a lot of progress. So I know that for me, progression is we're still fighting because there's still a fight to fight. And as long as we don't give up, that's the best I got. So
I want to hop over here to the comments really quickly. The comments, keep them rolling in, everybody. They've been jumping all night here. But Janet put something in the comments that I did want to address. And she said, just want to point out that the Somali community struggles with divisiveness to all the same accusations and power struggles. There isn't a single group I've been around in the past 5 years that doesn't. Janet, and to everybody out there, the reason why I brought up what happened with them and with their leader is not to point out that they don't have the same struggles and things that we do, because that is just incorrect. They actually struggle a lot worse than we do. They are coming from their home country, their homeland, our motherland, Africa, where all of us are from, here to a different city, a different country, a different culture. And that's a struggle right there for them. but I'm not even going to hop in all of that. But what I will say is that I stand with them, and not only stand with them, but the reason why I brought up that, in fact, is to say that I applaud them that when one of their own went missing, they didn't wait on the cops to go looking and searching every corner, nook, and cranny of the city. They didn't wait on the mayor to have their own press conference to say their own was missing. They held their own damn press conference. They didn't wait on anybody. They just gathered together and they done the damn thing. And I appreciate that. And I think we, not just as a movement, but as a Black people, but as a people in general, we kind of need to take a note from them that we, and don't get me wrong, we had that same mentality and mindset 30, 40, 50 years ago when our grandparents were around and coming up and fighting the same fight that we're fighting right now. But we've seemed to have lost that. Yes, I know we have our differences, but at the end of the day, as my mom and my grandma all the time, can't nobody do family like family. Can't nobody do blood like blood. So we may go through all this drama, fighting and cussing and doing all that other shit that we do when we're together, but let somebody come against us and we're going to be a strong, united front. And I think we need to get that sort of mentality and mindset. So to see the Somali community get together, and yes, Janet, and I see Dewan is back here. Yes, Janet, you're absolutely right. I hadn't seen anything like this, and I'm glad you brought that up. Since before Amber went missing. Amber was missing for a little over 50 days, and I could remember people getting together, going and searching every nook and cranny of the city, looking for Sister Amber. I believe it was 57 days, but don't quote me. I know it was over 50 days. We just need to get that back. But maybe but maybe that goes back to the earlier conversation that the only reason why people do that is based on leaders, because Amber was one of our leaders. Just like the Somali community, the brother that got murdered, he was one of their leaders. So that leaves me with this final question. And I began to think about this as I was writing and penning the article on Andre Hill at his 1 year anniversary, entitled "Long Live Andre." How will we be remembered? How will we be remembered? How will I be remembered? How will you be remembered, Casey? How will you be remembered, Malia? How will you be remembered, Dewan? Whether we,
As an asshole.
right?
Man,
I probably
look,
will too.
that
But
bitch was
will
mean.
people care enough about us to give a damn about us to cry at our beer? I tell people all the time that, look, I'm not going to have some great funeral with the Bugles bugling, the mayor and Joyce and all them there. That probably won't be me. That's not going to be my story. I can tell you that right now. But the people who do come to my funeral, they're going to be there because of the impact that we had, the impact that outweighed our legacy. And that's what when I'm down and seeing all these people at the protests and who are calling themselves leaders, they're doing it to build like this big old great legacy in my mind. But for me, the reason why we're all out there is all about the impact. Not building some legacy, been in front of the cameras and all of that. No, it's about the impact. I've seen all of us on here give people the shirts off our backs, give our last cigarettes, give our last little bit of liquor out to bottle, food, money, our last dollar. The people out on the street
On
doing
my $80 bottle.
right.
Yeah. Oh man.
And we don't do that for clout or recognition. We do it because we care.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just like, as far as when I was going live earlier today and complaining about shit, bro, it's a level of disappointment because it seemed like people don't really realize just how motherfuckers don't look like they taking it seriously. And we do have progress. We have a bit of progress, but I give the progress in the city is C fucking minus. And it's just like I don't really.
Better than enough.
Yeah, it's better than enough, and it's still passing. But you know what? It's passing, and it's breadcrumbs, and we know it. And we got a long way to go. But then we got these people that just don't even. They're not even taking it fucking seriously. And it's like, where are the moms? Where are the families at when that happens? If these are the organizers, these are the people that are supposed to get the people that don't organize and don't be involved in the protest groups and don't know which Facebook group to follow. These are the people that are responsible to getting them back out in the streets, mobilizing them, speaking to them, and they can't even speak to me, and I'm in this shit, and I speak the same language. Like, that's the problem. Like, we need, like, I know everybody's probably got the same problems or whatever, but like, so we just gonna keep sitting here letting this foolishness continue?
Nope. No. We've. There's the echo. Who that?
We ain't got much.
We're gonna let people be easy.
It's
I mean, we ain't got.
Megan.
Yeah, we ain't got much to work with. It's not a whole bunch of people ready to go out here. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't got the pull. I don't got the Thanos snap where everybody could just pull up when we need to. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no follow through like that. Ain't nobody getting people involved on that scale, bro. They got little side hustle, little things that they do separately or whatever, and that's cool. And you need all that too, but we need the ability to use our numbers as leverage. And then you don't got people cooperating or doing the right things that you would need to keep the people who are involved. You sitting here dividing them. We ain't got that many people to separate. Like, you separate, if you have 1,000 people and you cut them in half, you still have 500. But if you only have 100, why would you divide them? We are not in the bit. We don't have time. We don't have the numbers to be sitting here telling certain soldiers, oh, they're not invited here, or getting them to argue about trivial shit so that they will be. You know, how am I gonna fight with you when we ain't got good morale, bro, with each other? I don't trust you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't.
Morale is very, very
You can't go to war with niggas like that.
Nah, you're right. Because we end up fighting against each other more than we fight against the people killing us. Why'd I hear nobody, Devontae?
At stupid shit like that. You're arguing about stupid shit. Not even arguing about who the fuck need to get out of here with that dumb shit that's harmful, that's divisive, that's separating us from each other, that's making it to, you know, there was nobody there talking about how motherfuckers was going down there trying to police certain people and turning certain people away from and being rude as fuck to white people and doing all this other shit, man. Nobody was down there controlling that shit. Like, you know what? That's not what none of this is about. Fuck how you feel about certain things and all that. It was just no oversight, bro. I stepped off the porch. I went out there protesting, bro. I didn't know whose event it was that I came to. I didn't give a damn. It didn't matter. I wouldn't have known who they were anyway. I didn't know nobody. Came down here and started hearing people tell me I can't do this. You can't protest like that. You can't do this. And I'm an American, bro. I can do whatever the hell I want as far as this assembly shit, bro. That's my right. As long as I don't sit here and disrespect the family, disrespect somebody's name, discredit them, make them look stupid, discredit the movement. You have to be very responsible with this shit, bro. And then you have a following and you sitting here playing with your platform. You want people to come together and all this unity and community meetings every Wednesday and shit. But you're not, like, in your downtime, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday, and the weekends, You talking shit and making these same people that's supposed to come together and work with each other argue about shit. Or, you telling people you only want to highlight female voices and shit. What about the men? Why are we just separating ourselves? Why are we cutting ourselves so thin, bro?
And
Why do we
let's
gotta
let's not play it, small potato shit. Even if you don't like a white person, we have black leaders telling black folks they're not black enough because those are the same people attacking white folks. You take a light-skinned black person like black-skinned black persons doesn't exist or something. Is that new to people? When they think visually, they see someone who's light-skinned and they determine they're not black. That's beyond stifling. We are killing our own movement if there's a movement.
Black is black to me, and I don't care what you or shade or whatever. And the piggyback, I know I just jumped back in this like a phantom. But I heard y'all talking about people coming out and all that shit and why people don't come out. You ever heard a song by Gnarls Barkley called Crazy? He says this in the song: "My heroes had the heart to lose their lives out on a limb, and all I can remember is I wanted to be just like them. And ever since I was little, it looked like it was fun, and it's no coincidence what I've come." So people gonna come regardless. It might be today, it might be tomorrow. They're gonna be just like how we was, sitting off on the sidelines, and then one day something compelled you to hop off the porch, as we call it. But the divisive shit, like when people fucking this is my whole thing about this shit. You put unity up there and you're preaching this unity shit, but then something comes up there where it could be a learning. You can use it as a learning tool. You can use it as an example, but you're just throwing it up there. That's what I like to call. Maybe I got different definitions, but that's what I call gaslighting. Because you just pouring the gas. You ain't lighting the flame. You just pouring the gas right there so it could be lit. And I don't really fuck with that, bro. Like, I like my dude, man. Like, I never really had a problem with him besides when he said the R. Kelly shit. I took that personal. That's my age bracket, nigga. I should have said something then, but I didn't say nothing now. But I was just trying to keep the movement in my mind. Like, it's going to seem like I'm just attacking somebody because I don't like something that somebody posed, but it is going to be interpreted as I'm attacking somebody in the movement, and it is not that. So that's why I kind of kept my fucking mouth shut for a while. But now, since it's all out in the open, I get to say my motherfucking piece. And the government cut me off when I was talking that real shit about fucking destroying Congress, like getting the fuck up out of there, because there's truth behind that.
Hey, yo, I ain't cutting nobody down. I know for damn sure this man, and I know this man's watching, this man called me personal when his homies came at me and came at Devontae. And they started trying to raise money off the fact that I asked a question about Bill Cosby and I became a rape apologist. He called me personal.
I was banging.
He asked me, Casey, that he asked me what is going on, what happened. I told him the full story. He knew that Black Men's was under attack and had nothing to add to that. He had nothing to say to it. He didn't want to stand. He has people on this same post talking to Malia about, hey, I see you in a disagreement with somebody. You having a disagreement. And that same person was coming at me on my own private. My daughter was watching this person come talk about, I'm a rape apologist. I need to shut my fucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? This is toxic. This is toxic, and this support.
Hey, but on the real,
yeah,
the shit that pisses me off the most about that shit be the motherfucking white folks in them comments going motherfucking ape shit, and ain't nobody saying nothing, bro. That's the only thing. As a man that I would say to him, I will say this to him when I see him at the meeting. Is this, bro? Like, you gotta moderate your own page, bro. You got to moderate and contact your filter. Just like I don't allow the word nigga on my page before. You used to get blocked for that. If you brought that any way, you would get blocked for that. I have a certain set of rules when these white folks start telling black people what racism is and they racist. Listen here, boo-boo. Black people is incapable of being racist here. Most white people is incapable of being racist here. You need some power or something. You ain't got no fucking power. You can't even pay your fucking light bills. Just like the rest of us. So, and these motherfuckers want to judge us and talk to us because they the first motherfucking community ever, the first generation ever, motherfucker that didn't see color. Well, excuse me, y'all motherfuckers did. And excuse me for having some of the things that roll over. Motherfuckers talk about inherent trauma and all that shit, but don't want to talk about the inherent trauma to being fucking slaves and then motherfucking iPhones for fucking hundreds of years. But they won't call us racist because we had to fucking build up walls and build up materials. Did you Emmett Till? You know what happened to Emmett Till? He whistled or something at a white girl. So if you're a man or a woman back there and you have your kids, that was a defense mechanism that lets you know, do not be careful around these people. Now, fast forward to now. Don't nobody care. Listen, I'm allowed to cuss. I'm going to stick my dick in whatever I please. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't care what their fucking color is, the type of person they are, bro. Does my spirit match with their spirit? Does my soul energy? Because believe me, I done had some soul suckers in my life, and I ain't trying to go back to that. And they was all used.
I don't even want to talk about your ladies, man. Right now, look, that's amping up on a whole other.
Hey, if you know me, you know me. If you don't know me like that, hey, you don't know me like that. But hey,
yeah, this is
open book.
Crazy, bro. But it's these fucking hot button ass conversations that just don't help nobody, bro. What I mean, damn, like you know what I'm saying? You got people, oh, you're sexist and this other shit. Like
everybody's sexist.
And see, well, here's the thing, though.
Baked in.
Why? Okay, so here's my thing. You know, people are going to have their own opinions. You know, not everybody is going to agree on everything. Just because we all came out here for Black Lives Matter don't mean that they're going to be sitting there agreeing on you about everything else. And nobody expects that. But like I said, there's a certain level of responsibility that you need to have when you acknowledge that you have all of these people, and these are the people that are that the movement is dependent on your page. And you're sitting there telling them only to work with certain people. You're sitting there telling them to talk about this and talk about that, and everything's open for discussion. Not everything that is involved in Black people and Black culture and how we take care and raise our kids is up for discussion. We need to be protective of our shit. And just because some people call themselves some allies and they got some flags and some tattoos, that don't mean shit to me. Never has. And then the thing about it is like, it never mattered. I know some whack ass, coon ass Black people that don't be involved in this shit that could do more and do better. I expect more from Black people that actually live through this shit than I expect for some white allies to be here for us. But you know what? I also understand why niggas don't come around, because this shit is corny. It's very corny. When I first came to the protest, I was like, bro, what the fuck is all this show stopping, ribbon dancers and all this colorful shit? And then I don't know what kind of protest I'm coming to, bro. I'm seeing flags with different colors and shit. I thought we came down here for George Floyd. And then you got all these people coming, bro. You got all these people coming down here, and then, like I said, with the same shit. Like you got all of these people coming down here, and there's no organization that has experience that sees this opportunity of all of these people and this opportunity to mobilize all these people. They didn't come down here to do that. They came down there to show who they were, to wave their flag, and they left. I only seen organizations come down there once every 3 weeks. They didn't come down there and help us when we was getting maced and kids was getting maced and people still getting shot at and shit, bro.
That fucking horn and shit.
There's you know, and then everything, the politics that I didn't even know about until I started getting involved in this shit, the hierarchy, the monopoly. You're not going, I'm not going to have none of my medics work for you or come down there and support y'all. There's Black lives out here. These are supposed to be white allies that lend their services. They're supposed to be neutral. They're supposed to care about this movement. And there's Black people out in the streets, and it depends on which one it is and whether you're going to go out there and protect them or not. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of high school shit. It's a bunch of divisive shit. Oh, let's talk about, how do you feel about interracial relationships? Like, bro, nobody gives a fuck. That's how. Like, what about it? And what does that mean? And then you got black people who are expressing that they don't want their white children, their black children to mess with white women and all this other stuff. And then, like, here's the thing. Black people, do we sit here and we talk about that shit? We all know somebody. I know I've dated black men. I've known a number of black men who have told me that their mothers have told them, don't you bring no white girl home.
Mm-hmm.
We all know.
Same.
We all know.
And look at me now.
We all know that. Don't be fucking with them snow bunnies and shit. Like, we all know black people who say that, whether you agree with that or not.
And Malia, not to cut you off
Here's the thing, though. Nobody cares. Why are we talking about this?
Right there. What was going to get the thumbs up really quickly, and when we come back, we're going to continue this therapy hour, because this is what it's turned into right here on the Unbought and Unbossed show. And we're going to continue having more conversations like this every week on Mondays and Fridays. Because this is therapeutic, being able to like talk about it and everybody gathering. Because we've covered a lot.
I wish you would come to. I want him on the show.
We've covered a lot here during today's conversation about the more things change, the more they stay the same. But we got to go to a quick commercial, and Walk has to go get some headphones because he's killing us over here with this damn echo. Or get some AirPods or something. Shit.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's bad. So he's going to get that. We'll be back in about 45, 50 seconds. And then we're going to try and bring this therapy hour to or 2 hours really, to a close on this one topic. And then we'll come back with another topic on Friday. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Cardwell Mobile Notary Service. I'm Leandra Cardwell. I run a full-service mobile notary company. We specialize in apostille, loan closings, structured settlements, and more. Wherever you are, I'll be there. Even in your home, I'll be there. At the hospital, I'll be there. Nursing homes, I'll be there. At the library, I'll be there. Coffee shops, you pick, and I'll be there. And yes, even remotely too, I'll be there. Just submit a request on our website. Don't forget to locate us on Facebook and give us a call at 614-999-0149, and I'll be there.
Is that better, nigga?
I am so thankful for StreamYard.
I love StreamYard.
I'm thankful for StreamYard.
I love StreamYard.
I am super thankful for StreamYard.
All right. So it seems like he finally got some headphones, or at least I think I see some white AirPods. And what's up with his cheap ass Cricket wireless ass Wi-Fi shit?
Damn, you trying to send this nigga when you know he can't hear you.
Nah, no doubt. And you ain't the microphone when he talks. Is that better?
Yeah, we were still in commercial break shit.
No, but we got the echo back anyway. And he's not even on.
Well, then it's Malia. It's not me, and it's not you.
She has her headphones on.
It has to be Malia. I just muted her.
Oh.
Shit.
He's back at you. See, look, hey, you're gonna get fired, producer.
No, but here, let's wrap it up like this because the hour's getting late here. What was the most therapeutic thing about this therapy hour, this conversation, or whatever? Because today started off at a for all of this, just like transpired out of I don't want to say nowhere, but this all took place because Malia did her live, and then I got everybody together. We did like another 3-4 hour call after her 2 hour live. And then I was like, at the end of that call, why don't we go live? And I still didn't know what that looked like, but I knew what we needed to talk about. And I could honestly say that somewhat this has been sort of a therapeutic, and it's we need to have more of these conversations in some sense, in my mind, not just about the movement, but about all these different issues that really aren't been talked about anywhere else. So what was one takeaway from tonight?
As far as me, I got my therapy when I went live earlier, and I told niggas I was done with this shit. I'm dead ass serious. I said what I said. I'm not playing. Ramon's not the worst guy in the world. He's not the only person that I have like issues with certain shit with. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, he ain't even the worst one, the worst offender. It's just a accumulation of just goofy. I'm just tired of the goofy shit. I'm tired of the corny shit. I'm tired of it not being what it could be and not having more progress than what we've already seen. So my therapy was just being able to say all of that shit, you know, and just be like, I'm done with this shit. I'm tired of y'all shit. Y'all pretty much are going to run this movement to the ground, and I hope you know that you're not going to be successful doing this shit. Like, it's just very counterproductive. It's very divisive. It's not beneficial to anybody. And I just wanted to let y'all know that, and since you guys were so entertained by this shit, you just think that it's so funny and it's just a joke to y'all. And I wanted to kind of hold a mirror up to that shit, because I know that there's a lot of people that have reached out to me or that were on that live that were like, yeah, you're really saying shit that we've all said before. That's exactly how I felt, but I can't say that and all of that. And, you know, I guess the good thing about it is that, yeah, some people did get to have their therapy in me expressing something that they couldn't express. So like I feel good in that. That's the benefit of it. My shoulders feel a little bit lighter because I know I'm not about to deal with half of the goofy shit that's been sitting here bothering me, disappointing me, and discouraging me because I'm choosing not to deal with it. I know what this is all about. I've been around long enough to see who the key players are and what's going on and what's going wrong with this shit. And I'm tired of fucking agonizing over it with my group of people, the downtowners or whoever I feel like I can talk to, and people that I know I like can fuck with and know how to really maintain the integrity of the movement and maintain respect for the movement for what it's worth and all the lives that are lost in it, and acting right and doing it the right way and being strategic about it with the best intentions and pure intentions only. Like, I love all of y'all. You know, I'm glad I got to express that and express, you know, something that they wish that they got to say. And, you know, like I said before, and I want to end it again on that, I didn't mean to attack Ramon. It wasn't just Ramon that I had a problem with, and I don't have a problem with Ramon. I just don't like that shit on Facebook, the question of the day type shit. That shit does not add any sort of relevancy to the conversation. It just adds tension, and we all seen how that social media shit can go sour and turn into some other shit, turn into some lynch mob shit, and be counterproductive and cause people to be wanting to not work within the movement. And then where does that leave the movement? Like, I just feel like my therapy was when I went live and I tell people that I think that all of this shit is bullshit, the way that y'all handling it, and I'm out because I don't have time to sit here and waste my time and energy when I care so much about this shit. There's too many families that rely on this shit, and y'all need to act right. Like, I'm not about to be involved in that shit. If y'all ain't about to act right, act like y'all don't know what you're doing, or play like throw rocks and don't and hide your hand, or throw a bomb and act like you don't know why everything is burning to the ground and why don't nobody want to work with each other and all this other shit. Like, I think that shit is so unnecessary. And, you know, it's just divisive. We already got enough shit to divide us on a day-to-day basis. That's the point, is to never allow you guys to motivate each other or mobilize with each other and unite with each other so that y'all can get a goal accomplished. The power is in the numbers. And you want to help the op divide us even more. And then you already know that the leadership here ain't shit. Why would you do that? But everybody cares about the movement. So I'm not about to sit here and live no lie and be fake with niggas. That was my therapy today. Let them know I think this is bullshit. What y'all want is bullshit. It ain't gonna work, and it ain't gonna amount to shit. It ain't gonna change shit.
KC, what was
KC,
your
what was
therapy
your
today?
therapy today?
Yeah. So, little bruh, let me say to you this.
Follow that up.
This was not therapy. I know what you mean, okay? I know what you mean, and I definitely appreciate it. But what we did tonight was we updated on some bullshit that ignited yesterday afternoon. I have already talked to Miss Hill yesterday. We were on the phone for a minute about this, and today it kept going. And by the time I checked back in, the comments on this stupidity had reached epic levels. So when she went live, I was not surprised. We talked about this shit last night. I'm glad she waited till today. I'm glad she got some sleep. I mean, so really with the therapy, I don't think that we needed this therapy. What I think the city, on the other hand, the city needed us to do this tonight because we had to address this. We had to address this as unified folks too, because Malia had to call this dude out by herself because nobody else.
Hold on, wait.
Nobody else.
Hold on.
Okay, wait a minute. What? You're muted. You're muted.
I just want to make this shit clear again. Like, this shit is beyond Facebook posts. Like, this shit is about everything that has happened. About the misandry, the man hate, the shit, the sitting here acting like white people gotta be slaves and shit to motherfuckers in the movement. You gotta stand in front of black people. Like, this shit is beyond Ramon.
Right.
It's beyond yesterday.
I agree.
And then, like, literally, that's just one of the very many things that just led up to being like, fuck this shit, bro. All of this shit is whack. If y'all just, and the enabling, and that everybody thinking it's tee hee hee and something to caca hee hee and kiki about and shit. Like, it's ew. This is who's responsible for the movement, though. This is who's supposed to be liberating black people in Columbus, Ohio. Ew, yuck. No, I'm out. Don't count me out, bro. Cause y'all, this is whack. This is cosplay for a lot of niggas. Like, it's just fun. So, like, I just want to make it clear. Like, yeah, we talked about it last night. That was a trigger for me. I've been in the house with COVID. Like, I let that shit bother me. But it really just made everything boil over. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to make that clear that, like, yes, it was like, that's one of that nigga is like on the low rung of offenders of things that pissed me off about this movement and the things that's wrong with this city. And shit don't help. And the fact that everybody can just see the little teeny tiny shit like that just seep through the cracks to continue to fester and just poison the whole fucking movement and make it all not worth shit. It shit got to me. It's been cumulative.
All right, so Devontae, here I'll give you this much. As far as the therapeutic point that I see tonight, we had all the four of us here have discussed multiple toxic folks in Columbus, Ohio for the last 2 years. And tonight we finally just set it out to everybody. This is public now. This is not a conversation that we was on the damn video call for, like you said, 3 hours earlier. You know what I'm saying? That was just us. So I think for the four of us tonight, we said what we had to say. This is real, and we cannot just continue to let this shit fester up. If people want to come into spaces where we're trying to protect families and they're toxic, they're gonna get called out. We're not going to sit on this. We're not going to sit there and allow people to continue their toxic, their masculinity, femininities. I don't, whatever you want to call it, you call it what you call it. But I've been around families. These two are now being very close to people, families. There are people that talk to them that are in very vulnerable situations in this world. So I know there's a lot riding on them. For y'all out here faking it, it's not going to be the same in 2022. There are people who are going to speak your name, and people will know this. Stop playing games. We got to stop playing games. It's time to get real, real. Because we have people, we have Casey Goodson Jr., we have Andre Hill. There's going to be another killing very soon because they ain't stopping nothing. So as far as this bull crap, this clout chasing, do what y'all do, okay? But you got to understand, you can't come in our circles and expect us to not acknowledge the fact that we know who you are. That's what leadership is about. We have to call people out that we don't want to. We have all understood some people around us that we don't want to have issues with, but we also understand that you have your own agenda. It's not even clout chasing. And we can't have you being toxic within our environment because no matter how much work you do for someone, you hate men and you hate them openly for some reason. And we can't figure it out. We know you've been hurt. And that's some mental illness that we would definitely want to help you understand and get, some help for. But you can't hate everybody. If you come into our circles and you're hating people, you can't expect to help people. You got to get help yourself before you can help those. I've been going through a year some therapies. I know my brother Dewan here, man, he's a soldier. He's done seen some things. He's going through things. And he's been attacked by Proud Boys. Not anymore. He's solid, y'all. He's fixed. What does that mean, man? Right. Anyway, we don't have people stepping up to help us unless it's white guilt. And that doesn't help none of us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why within ourselves, we started these mental health support groups. That's why we're trying to reach out to people tonight because this has gone too far. This has gone too far. And when I see my sister on here, my sister Soldier on Facebook Live, getting ready to catch a case, I'm going to catch a case. And I don't need to catch a case because, again, the dude's not that big of an offender. Ramon, this is not against you. But the thing is, you love me saying your name. You love her saying your name. You love people talking about what you do. Okay? That's not what this is about, man. It's not. So please work with us because, we're not trying to hurt nobody's. And the therapy tonight is everybody's going to be talking about this shit for the next week now. Columbus, Ohio, y'all done heard a whole bunch, and there's a lot more to hear. So
what was your therapy tonight?
I was going to just say a couple things. All right, because I personally could give two shits if someone likes me or someone. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. People put in what they can and what they do, but sometimes you gotta realize that you have a platform. So you got platforms, and maybe you can come at it a little bit better. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to like motherfucking like hate on a nigga for some shit. I'm just gonna be me. But like some of that shit do be pissing me off, and it is he's getting something, but he's taking that from like the Black Lives Matter movement. Like you got that notoriety where you got 200 fucking people on that talking about it. I feel like it's a responsibility to project something positive, or at least have a fucking like a true conversation where you can agree, disagree with respect, but move on. But like it's just running in a circle. That's why I call it gaslighting and all that shit. And let's see. Another thing about my therapy is this. I've never wanted no motherfucking money from this shit. I've never asked for no money from this shit. I have put my own money into this shit. When they was poisoning water, some of that water was my water that I bought personally that nobody ever fucking known about. That I just did on my own. I know motherfucker was thirsty or they needed some wood or some nails because they got their shit busted up. So I don't know what the fuck's up. You got motherfuckers running around the city talking about this and that and getting money for that shit and not helping out the city. They just going to like they pockets and all that shit. Motherfuckers is family with motherfuckers that's giving the money out and got the money. I find that fucked up. I need some therapy for that. And my nigga brought the Proud Boys. I wasn't gonna bring them little punk ass niggas up, But ain't nobody ever fucking say shit about that shit, bro. That's just a breeze in the fucking wind. Everybody say back to fucking blue. But this is what happens when you go to the blue. Don't shit fucking happens. Unless they want to put a bullet in your ass. So therapy that I think people should what else? Bro, about therapy. How do I feel? I'm glad I got some weed because it calmed me down. My tin hat moment of the day is the government cut me off when I was talking that real shit about the motherfucking Congress and the fucking term limits that these motherfuckers in the government that just think they can do whatever the fuck they want to do because they can sprinkle a little hate in the air and get motherfuckers fighting with each other, and they can just do whatever the fuck they want. They can plan these $1 million condos out here. They can plan these motherfucking neighborhoods about to shut down these schools that they're building new schools, but about to shut these motherfuckers down. So I need some therapy about that probably. Let's see what else. And people come out in droves again. I don't really believe that's never gonna happen unless some motherfucker fuck up and shoot somebody on motherfucking camera. But the police is getting smarter. They smart as fuck. They play Disney music so you can't even record shit. And we sitting here arguing about some motherfuckers and motherfuckers putting like taint in the motherfucking in the water when we need to seem like we motherfucking oblivious to the hate because we got so much hate coming from us from other motherfucking ways, but people just want to instigate or incite and don't think that it's. I mean, think that it's cool. And I don't like that. That's some old bitch shit for real. Like you gotta be a real nigga in this motherfucking movement because everybody's treating you for real as a black man as a real nigga. Real niggas looking at you as a real nigga, and white folks looking at you as a real nigga. And you really don't want that fucking microscope that these motherfuckers looking at you. Shit, that's what I got from this motherfucking protest and shit. I had my fucking windows busted. I've had. Well, one was a girl, but having windows busted, have my tires slashed, have my motherfucking brakes fucking fucked with, bro. Motherfuckers cut me off and all that shit, all types of shit, bro. I don't want to fucking like argue and fight with people that I'm supposed to be comrades with. And that's pretty much all I really wanted to like sum up what I want to talk about, but I got cut off.
So y'all know what's his name? Schuster? Is it Schuster or Schumann or whatever the fuck?
Schuler. Like on your foot.
Schuler, do not come to my crib just because I can't remember your name. But bro. They gonna show this whole 2 hours tomorrow.
Bro, I've not heard anything about that. They stole on me in broad daylight with the police at the end of the street. I've never had fucking anything about that shit. I don't even know if my police report that I filed, that fucking lawyer told me to fucking file, is even real. But hey, that's what happens when you want to like just talk on black things. The only thing I've ever done was talk.
All right,
and now you could have learned in history. Yeah, just get me off here. I'm just rambling about weed, but hey, I just summed up everything I wanted to talk about before I got cut off. So yay!
All right,
hey, y'all.
All right, here, you get the last word, Casey.
Nah, I'm not even doing it. I love y'all. All right. So this is a good night for us, just because we can wrap this shit up and be done.
All right, everybody. I think this sums it all up. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way, as Stevie would say. And that's all we got, and there ain't no more. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. I got to get out of here. The show is going to re-air 2 more times throughout the night in the next 24 hours. So if you didn't get to catch the beginning, catch the rebroadcasts of it, and we will see you next time right here on the Unbought and Unbossed show. Peace, everybody. I'm out.
Thank you for watching the UnBought and UnBossed show. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, what's holding you back from smashing the subscribe button? Don't forget to hit the bell to get notified every time we post a new episode. Devontae will be back here every single weekday, breaking down the most important news stories to Black America. We'd love for you to share this episode with your friends and family. And remember, Black America, to keep it real because your conscience depends on it.